Is it named after a dog?
Yes. Bailey's Strata Double Dry Hopped Pilsner.
Yeah.
It was super clear, too, until we drank it. And
It was delicious.
gone.
I liked it.
Yeah.
But I would probably not use Bailey's. Kind of limits your usage in the month of March.
And also makes it difficult to sell out of state. I mean,
I bet.
Not that you're going for that.
When you say Bailey's, I think of the Irish liqueur. Generally.
Right. There's a picture of the dog on the front, though.
Okay.
They're really only selling it in cans out of the tap room.
That's good. Yeah, we should get it. Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies. I'm Rob Fulmer, the Executive Director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Deputy Director Andrew Bauman. Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier. If you're hearing this in timely fashion, you should get it. Mm-hmm. And what do we have here?
This is Dead Out by Arizona Wilderness Brewing Company.
And it is a Rauch beer. You say Rauch or Rauch?
I say Rauch. Is that wrong?
I don't know. But when I edit this video, I'll probably look it up, or maybe not. So
hey, cheers.
These are
Hi, Rob.
Andrew Bauman.
Welcome to Rauch Beer.
Rauch Beer.
Yeah. So it is a style. Do you know Brian Yeager? He's a writer. He wrote one of the first Where to Go in the United States for craft beer.
I do not.
He's written other things. He's brought his infant. Now the boy is, I don't know, 8-ish or something like that. Maybe 10, 12. I don't know. I don't know. He's got a brewery count. His son, like it's in the hundreds. Anyway, he wrote an article, and I didn't get a chance to read it yet. But the headline was kind of like everyone's like, "Whoa, it's a terrible headline," which is something about the most hated beer style.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today, but I did not read it either.
Yeah, well, it's not.
It's a new article. It's not just a recycle.
Well, I don't know. I just saw it popped up in my timeline. I don't think so.
I feel like I've seen that headline before, but people love to hate it.
Rauch beers are one of those two. They use smoked malt, and I think if you actually look at your style guidelines, it's a very narrowly focused category. I mean, not all smoked beers are Rauch beers, I guess, but I think in terms of a fan base, there is something that John Hall from All About Beers started as a joke on April Fools one year. It's called This Week in Rauch Beer, and as if and he has a byline. He has a byline, Andrew.
Oh yeah,
it's the world's most celebrated and accomplished publication on the most popular beer style in the world, or something very superlative. And it's kind of funny, and it kind of took off, and now there's a lot of chatter on the Facebook group. There's not much on the Twitter group or account.
Yeah,
so
I'm a member of that group. Yeah, that's fun.
He had to abbreviate This Week in Rauch Beer on Twitter, and it's like TWI Rauch Beer. I'm like, it sounds like like TGF Fridays.
TWI Rauch Beer. It's a long name.
Yeah. So this is from Arizona Wilderness, and you are correct. I mean, it's pleasantly milder, but it is puzzling why this hasn't taken off. It's people who's like, I hate IPAs. They should do something malty. Well, this is malty, and it incorporates. If you like barbecue, I don't know why you wouldn't even.
This one is quite light on the malt, on the smoke, in the flavor, but I do get it more on the nose. It's good. Yeah. I went there on the day it was released because of your fandom. I wanted to make sure and have that.
Yeah.
And
Dead Out is referring to putting your fires out. And every day is potentially fire season here in Arizona.
There's no more fire season. It's year round, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, so do that. You need to be able to pick up the ashes in your hand and throw them up like Shaq, and like he does with his talc powder.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know.
But yes,
I know you're not into that kind of sport ball. I get it.
I mean, he picks up the talc and throws it over his shoulder.
Yeah,
It seems a little rude.
and
What if someone's there?
I don't have very many Shaq references, but that's one.
Talc doesn't disappear. It's going somewhere. It's
know.
also not good to breathe. All right, I'm just going to give him a pass.
Okay. Yeah. So this is enjoyable. This is not what we do on this show.
No,
we don't really.
This is not a beer review show. We have to stop.
It's all right.
We did come here today with a specific
to work.
reason to talk on the pod, and that is that you went to the Festival of Barrel Aged Beers.
Yes, it's colloquially FOBAB, but technically now it's called Festival of Barrel and Wood Age Beers, or Wood Age and Barrel Beers. I don't know which, but that doesn't really work. FOBAB. It's FOBAB.
Doesn't roll.
Yeah, we don't have that for strong beer. We don't have
Right.
we don't have an acronym.
Man, no. I mean, we use SBF internally, but it's not popular.
AZSBF.
Maybe someday.
AZSBF. Sounds like SBF.
It still
like
doesn't
we have a suntan lotion.
We need it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I went to that. I went to it in Chicago, and I made a sort of a last minute call and got on a flight and arrived in.
Friday evening.
Yeah,
You left about 3:30, right?
right. And when all is said and done, because O'Hare is kind of out there. I mean, you end up in your hotel about 10:30, plugging all your stuff in, shaking out your clothes, and
Sounds like a pretty standard trip for Rob. Like that's when you get to your hotel is usually about 10:30.
well, I mean, yeah, when you don't plan your trips and you just kind of wing
And
it.
flying from Arizona to the Midwest, you lose those hours.
Yeah.
That was before
Yeah.
daylight savings.
So growing up in Milwaukee, in my formative drinking years, which where you could drink a lot younger than you can these days, legally or not.
When did
but
that change? Because we're not that far apart, and it definitely was 21 when I was growing up.
It was 19 when I was growing up, and I missed the 18 by a little bit, but I didn't really miss it. If you know what I'm saying, in Wisconsin, there are people in bars
There are
that were
sources.
16 years old.
There are sources of beer in a lot of places.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could actually go to bars. I mean,
Right. Yes.
because people didn't really feel that was a bad thing. Anyway, bar time in Chicago was like 4 a.m. or something like that. And you could hang out for an extra half an hour and then they would start up again.
Oh man.
Yeah. But that's not the case in the post-pandemic world. So I thought I had some time, and I did. So I went down to my hotel bar, and I had a stipend in my hotel deal where I had a little bit to spend as part of the deal I got, and I got a couple of Fist Cities. Those are from Revolution. It's a pale ale.
I did see the picture of that.
Yeah. And it's a good beer, and I'm familiar with it because they used to enter our canned craft beer festival.
Wow.
Back in the day. So it was a favorite of ours, my wife and I. So I had a couple of those, kind of try to figure out what's open, Google, there was no breweries open,
I mean,
at
that
10:30
that
at
day
night.
has to be a lot of people in town from out of town for the festival. Was it in that area?
No, not necessarily. But it's a different town. I mean, there was a Bears game on Sunday. Right? So you would think, but not really. When I was leaving, I saw some Dolphin fans walk out of my hotel. It's just a bigger town, a bigger downtown, a bigger concentration of people, right? And so it's not unexpected that you could go to a bar and have a meal after midnight. So that's what I did. I mean, I found a place near my hotel, then got a Chicago dog, not the best Chicago dog, but a pretty good Chicago dog. And I just happened to glance, and they seemed to have some Polish beers. It being a Chicago, having a Polish German, background. I'm like,
Heritage.
yeah. So I got a Polish lager, and again, I had a lot of choices. I'm like, how many times am I going to be able to do this at 11 o'clock at night, almost 12? So I got that. It was
Sounds like
great.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, was the lager a little bit oxidized? Maybe a little bit, but it was delicious. So I did that, and then I that area has House of Blues. I didn't go there. I found another blues club. I just in my head, House of Blues was going to be if it was going to be open that late at all, it was going to be
Big concert, loud.
well, big concert, or I didn't want to pay
All right.
a cover, and I knew this other smaller place existed, and I saw a blues band there for a little bit. They played till 1:30, so I was pretty happy. But I think I left before the last song. But very nice people there. I happened to be standing in the wrong spot, and the bouncer's like, "Hey, you can't stand there." I'm like, I'm standing against the wall. He's like, "Well, I've got a painted line here because of." I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry." And like, I don't think he expected me to be nice.
Understanding.
Yeah. And then
there's going to be some pushback because it's now after midnight and people aren't super chill.
Yeah. Oh, and that bouncer was like telling people that were obviously overserved. Oh yeah, there's a $15 cover. Or was it a $15 cover? But
Augmenting his
he
income.
ran me down and he made sure I got a seat, which is
Very
cool.
nice.
Yeah. So maybe I'll put some video. If you're watching the video, you'll see some of the footage, and I might put a few musical notes in there from the show. But if you're not, we have a YouTube channel for all of our stuff.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that every time because I would never remember. But you're doing a lot of work to make it happen. So thank you on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a chronicle of what we do, and like, you take a bunch of pictures, and I take a bunch of pictures, and sometimes you never look at them again. So it's kind of fun to throw that together. But by the way, it was like 70 degrees at like 11 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Wild.
It rained for a little bit, and it was fine. But then I decided, well, I'm going to try to get an Italian beef, and I found this other place.
Now it's
1:30.
1:30.
Yeah.
Okay. You're looking for food at 1:30. Okay.
I mean, I didn't have very
It's
much
not
to eat on the
impossible.
plane. I think I had the biscotti
Right.
they give you for free. Yeah. So I didn't get to bed till late, and time change and all that stuff. And I had been texting Josh from Oso, who maybe we'll get him on.
Hope so.
I know he's been on before, but he was the one that said, "Hey, you going to be at FOBAB?" And like, the funny thing is that's what happened like in 2019 or 2019. And I did basically the same trip on the same whim.
It's Friday. I'm just going to have to jump on a plane today.
Yeah. And so he's like, and then like, he's like, I don't have tickets, but I can get, I'm like, oh, I can call Ray and Katie over at
Illinois Craft Brewers Guild.
right, who is the beneficiary of the event and who runs the event.
So at this event, there was Oso was there.
Yeah.
What is the other Arizona beer value out there?
Oh, so Oso, who had, and to my memory, besides Four Peaks, they were the only Arizona breweries that were there historically. Four Peaks was there, and I'll get into that when we get to that chronologically. Also, Wren House, and also
I heard of them.
Yeah, and also Superstition Meadery.
Cool.
Yeah. So, so I texted him in the morning. He's like, "Yeah, no one's getting up." They actually have a whole week. It was Siebel's 150th anniversary. They had something at Siebel on Thursday. There was a Malort tasting, right? So you can understand, like, maybe by Saturday morning they're a little bit beleaguered because there's a Friday session too. There's a Friday session and a Saturday session.
Got it.
So yeah, I woke up in time just to do a little wandering around Chicago, and I found the Marina City Towers, which again, if you're on the YouTube channel, you can see what I'm talking about. If you're not, if you're familiar with the Wilco album, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, excuse me. It's that iconic building, and I had to play the album and take the picture. And
Yeah. And you went to the cheeseburger place.
I did. Yeah. Yeah. If you're familiar with this Saturday Night Live skit with John Belushi and
All the people.
it's the Billy Goat Tavern, and I went to the original location, and I mean, it's just a thing. Like, they have their own line of beers, and I don't know who makes them. I had there's dark, right? It's kind of like McSorley's with a dark and a light. And if you're familiar with New York City and that bar, I don't know who makes it. It's just what it is.
There's a dark and a light.
Yeah, and I think they had a Citra IPA or something like
God.
that. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of. I'm like, it just reminded me maybe like that. Also, Kirkland does that too.
Yeah, and Trader Joe's in there.
No,
Trader
I mean,
Jose.
look, you're gonna get a cheeseburger, and if you can remember the 1970s skit or whatever it was no Coke, Pepsi, but honestly, they have Coke and no Pepsi now. So
Hey,
the money
marketing changes.
the money got to them. Somebody got to them, and you know, it's just
cheeseburger, Pepsi, chips.
yeah. So I got that, and it's basically like a school lunch hamburger. I hope I'm not offending anybody, but that's what it is, and it's affordably priced, and like it's a dive bar with food, and yeah. So I did that, and of course it rained again. I went to the FOBAB. It's at that's what the olds do. They call it the FOBAB instead of just FOBAB. I don't know.
What?
I just called it the FOBAB.
Oh yeah, that's what the olds do. Nice.
It's at the UIC Pavilion, which I think is renamed now. I think it's where Illinois University plays basketball. They're in a bigger spot because I've been here before, and I think we might have talked about it like in passing. It is crowded generally. Each brewery gets there's 6 breweries to an 8-foot table.
Whoa, that is small.
Yeah, it's like, and it's volunteers pouring, okay, but which has advantages and disadvantages. We can talk about that a little bit. But they I just, every time I look at this festival, I'm like, it's cool, and I think people from Arizona would go there and think it's cool. But if you brought that same look and feel to Arizona, they would rip it up because we need our space here. I don't know what it is.
We have to have our 10-foot square area for every brewery at every festival. It's wild.
Breweries want their branding, and I get it.
Yeah.
You know, and there are more than just Illinois breweries in this. This is obviously because Arizona is there, but you know, it's a big Midwestern thing. A lot of breweries drive to it. That's something that doesn't really happen for us. You know, we might get some New Mexico breweries and stuff like that. They don't drive. Right?
Yeah. We're out here. They're going to get
California.
what their distributor has. And
Yeah.
I mean, they'll send in, like, I remember for Real Wild and Woody, we had breweries sending in some wild and crazy stuff. Surly sent a bunch of really.
I'm just saying it's like for Strong even, there's a lot of people who just fly their reps in, or they already have reps here, and it's not the same multi-state. Even though we have multiple states represented, it's just not the same.
Well, I know that the brewers are there for all the Arizona breweries. Like, literally the guys who made the beer were there.
Yeah. So
That's not how it always is here.
So I got in, ran into Katie. She got me some credentials. I ran into Melissa from Four Peaks, Melissa Osborne.
The brewer.
Almost immediately, yeah, the brewer. And she kind of like hangs out with her Goose people and 10 Barrel people. I think she's been doing that for a long time. I don't know how many. She was definitely there last time I was there. She might have been there years before. I don't know. But I hung out with her for a while, and so they have these volunteer pourers, which means the brewers can go there and enjoy the festival. But there are some other differences. In that state, it's not illegal for people who are serving beer to drink. It is prohibited here in Arizona. You remember when we were in Wisconsin, and I said, yeah, there's still like you could tip somebody in shots.
Right.
And it's not uncommon to see 5 or 6 glasses turned upside down. Like those are their shots for later.
Yeah.
And it's also not uncommon for people to pretend to drink alcohol so they're not blotto, but it's also the other way around.
Yeah. It's
Right.
a cultural thing.
Yeah. So,
Drinking with your bartender. That's a thing in some places that just doesn't happen here. Like,
yeah. And
does it ever happen? Sure. It's not regular, though.
right. And so this is an interesting aside. You could change the law, but you can't. It's harder to change the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So if overnight, like that law changed, it would be problematic and we'd have to fix some cultural things. If that was something that we wanted to do. The way that our festivals are set up with a single person with the license and the liability stuff, it's, even if it were allowed, I'm guessing our carriers would have something to say about that. Even though they let that go in other states,
Right.
they know it's cultural. So I don't know how I feel about that. I want our brewers to come. I want them to enjoy the festival. It's hard to encourage volunteers if they can't drink before they pour. Mm-hmm. There's an intoxication standard, but it is completely subjective, as you know. Like, you can get pulled over and below a 0.0, and they can still charge you for DUI. It's happened a couple times in the state.
Yep.
So, but they have a nice brewers area, plenty of beers. You can crack your own beer. That's not something that we can do under that our event license or any license, right?
Right.
You can't.
Server has to open it for you. Even if they're giving you the whole bottle, they just have to open it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I in that area, by the way, not barrel aged beers.
Right.
Beers.
Pilsners. Helles.
Yeah. IPAs. To be, I mean, on the face of it, you're like, oh, there's going to be all these really heavy beers. Not necessarily true. Like, there are definitely lower ABV barrel-aged beers there.
And keep in mind, sours are often barrel-aged.
Yes,
So
yeah.
We're not talking just big imperial stouts.
Yes. Ran into Jay Wilson, former director of the Iowa Brewers Guild, who was working for Hot Air Brewing in Iowa. He had a beer on, and it was a sour beer, and it was tequila barrel-aged. So you get the botanicals a little bit, and I don't know if they're botanicals, but you get those characters, not just straight up hot alcohol. So yeah, got to pal around with Tanya Cornett from 10 Barrel, and she was multi GABF World Beer Cup winner.
Right.
She was the subject of For the Love of Beer many years ago, and I shared that as a home brewer. Our organization brought that movie out to debut during Beer Week, and I didn't get a chance to tell her that. Also, Tommy Arthur, and I got a chance to thank him for coming out and saying that what Lost Abbey was doing, and they were scaling back in a managed way, and he put out a statement with lots of information. And I said, yeah, a lot of us guild people see that this is something that some breweries are going to have to do in many, many states. And I said, thank you for putting it out there. I mean, I know.
He puts it out there. It makes it easier for other people to come forward and not just do it on the backside and have people wondering and the rumors go crazy. So
yeah. So, I mean, they are selling their 30-barrel brew house, and they're scaling down. So, he had won Best of Show at Duck Duck Goose. I don't have...
he won Best of Show at FOBAB with that beer.
Yeah. We had Superstition Meadery. Did I mention they were there?
You mentioned they were there.
Their beers were there. There was somebody who was connected with the brewery that...
Their meads and ciders were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they won an award for... oh, man. I'm going to forget what this is. I'll put... I think it was a vermouth. No, it'll come to me. We'll hit it up after the break. It was super holiday like it was something that you would want on your table for the holidays. So I'm gonna have to look into that.
Timing's good.
Yeah. So they won first place for that in that category. But so they have them like, like fruit barrel aged beers, wheat barrel aged beers. I mean,
Pretty wide.
yeah, I think they have chocolate as one of the things. I also, by the way, had a Stroopwafel barrel aged beer. So
Sweet.
yeah. So ran into some folks from Arizona.
Cool.
Some people connected with the original water project for beer with the state.
Yeah. The one in the truck.
Yeah, when we had
Truck
that.
that they just put
Real
in the
long one.
desert and killed.
Yeah, and they had a full production squad there. They had screens going on. They had the rotating digital signage. Yeah, it was impressive.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what. Let's take a little break, and I'm going to look into what. Maybe we can find out some of the names of the beers.
Winners.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob. We're back.
I was right. It was vermouth.
Nice.
Vermouth.
It is vermouth with Cabernet and some other wine grapes in with the wildflower honey.
Yes, it is Superstition Meadery Vermouth Barrel Aged Aphrodisia, and it is 13%.
And it
But it
is
drinks like-
aged in vermouth barrels.
Yeah, and it drinks like a cocktail,
Oh, cool.
and with a little bit. I don't know where they're getting. I'm getting like these.
herbal.
Well, I mean, like holiday spices, not not pumpkin spice or anything, but something desserty. I guess I don't know. Desert wildflower honey mead, Grenache, and Cabernet Sauv grapes and vermouth for 9 months. Wonderful. And I'm not a big mead drinker, and I usually like them a little more dry. I just I don't know what it is. Like you can drink a wine strength wine and not bat an eye, but sometimes like beers that get in that territory, or sometimes meads, just I don't know.
Yeah, they can be a little tough. But maybe it's the carbonation.
Maybe I'm just not drinking enough of them.
Okay.
That could be it too.
Could be it. You can find that at finer retailers or at their downtown tap room, right? They've got retail to go there.
Yeah.
Or in Prescott,
Yeah.
I guess. I'm just guessing.
Probably at Trevor's, or
Probably.
I don't know.
Maybe at Tops.
Maybe. We'll find out.
Someone's going to.
I'm gonna go get it
Well,
for Thanksgiving.
are you going to? Oh, you're not just going to cellar it?
I'm gonna drink it. If I cellar anything these days, it's because I forgot about it. Is that your experience?
I got no time for cellaring. I've been pulling out of the cellar. Anyways, let's go on with FOBAB because you got some more action. 'Cause
Yeah,
this
well-
was Saturday and you didn't come back till Sunday. So
Well, I know, but nothing happens on Sunday except for me trying to get out of bed, pack my bag, and leave. But okay,
I thought you went to a couple places.
I did afterwards. Yeah, but I want to hear about what you did a little bit,
Okay.
because I mean, you did some stuff.
Well, yeah, I went to Wilderness and had a lovely time there. I got there at about 3:30 on Thursday when this beer came out and the Black IPA came out and all the brewers were in the tap room there and getting off shift. They had a little canning line problem, so they didn't get any canning done that day. But yeah, everyone was there and we nerded out about beer and brewing and all the fun that it is, and that was cool. Then Friday we had our photo shoot.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you left.
Yes.
And Saturday morning I went and planted some saguaros.
Right.
Every first Saturday in November, Four Peaks Brewing Company sponsors a desert cleanup. And the last 2 years, it's included also planting some saguaros and other cactus in the burn scar area up over there by like Beeline Highway.
Yeah. Sycamore Creek.
Sycamore Creek.
little
Sycamore
further
Creek's on the north side of the road, and this is the south side, but ish, yeah.
Okay.
In the Four Peaks Wilderness area.
Nice.
So I had a good time there. I ran into Jim Roper from Four Peaks while I was there. His son is doing a Eagle Scout project and doing some learning. So we hung out a little bit. That was nice.
Yeah.
Then I went to the homebrew.
Grew out.
Yeah. It's National Learn to Homebrew Day. So I went to
Made some beer.
the homebrew place. Went to the clubhouse, and there were
Ash.
6 or 8 guys there.
Arizona Society of Homebrewers.
True that. They have a clubhouse in Tempe. And,
Who else was there?
oh, you know what? Their website is azhomebrewers.org.
Okay. Who else was there?
A whole bunch of people.
Was Johan there? I thought you said Johan.
Johan was there, yes.
From Phoenix Magazine.
Yeah. So I rolled up with my quick brew 3-gallon batch and started brewing, and everyone kind of was like, "Oh, we're not gonna be here that long. You can't really start right now." I'm like, "I'll be out of here."
Who called you an agent of chaos yesterday? I don't remember who that was. Was that?
That was Johan. Andrew's an agent of chaos.
Nice.
Well, yeah. So
Well, I just brought this up to also mention what we didn't do, and there were some other things going on. I mean, and I have done
Nacho Fest.
I did do this in last year. I went to that festival.
Nacho Fest is at Cottonwood, that brewing company.
Right. That last year, at least, I don't know if it was this year, the Clarkdale had their Oktoberfest, so I visited that last year too. Mm-hmm. And then I got on a plane and went to Yuma from Phoenix, and I went to the Prison
Hill.
No, it's the Penitentiary Festival in Yuma. And got there towards the end, and really the best part of it was hanging out at Prison Hill Brewing Company with a bunch of beer reps and just having some good times. So that was something that was a possibility for two of us, but we have lots of things that we can do.
Yeah. We did a lot of things.
Yeah. Can't do all of them.
No, I mean the Saturday was, I think Leah from Huss said they had 5 events on Saturday, and it wasn't either of those.
No,
So
I don't even know what they were doing.
There's tons of stuff. So
It's the time of the year.
it is. It's the beautiful weather. It's to get outside. It's 70 degrees. You can put on a little jacket. You can take off the jacket when it gets too warm. It's perfect time to be outside. And Arizona Beer Fest, I mean, it's outside. That's what we do.
Right. I mentioned this because, this is, I was doing that on Saturday. There was other things to do. And I really wasn't drinking a lot of barrel-aged beers until I ran into...
Tommy Arthur.
I'm calling it the tasting train because he was just like trying to find all the other metals and all the ones he wanted to try. And I think he was going to wander around with his 2 medals, the best of show and his category winner.
Let him clang around a little bit.
No, and so he was like, you just follow that train. And I've got Melissa from Four Peaks, and I've got Tanya from 10 Barrel. So that's a crowd that I want to know what they know. I want to hear their tasting notes. I want to, So it was
Sounds
fun.
like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like the most intense period of drinking for me because they were just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And they give you this mug to drink out of, and they literally have a splash in it. It is like the bottom of the glass. Like the clear mug that I think is floating around the office here that looks like a coffee cup. That's what they served out of. Yes.
The coffee cup that you...
Not the clear one. Did I bring that?
No, I didn't see that.
There's it's basically a coffee cup that's clear.
Great.
It's the same size. That's what they served.
Maybe we should do that for Strong.
I don't know.
I want to do something creative for the sample cup.
Well, everybody would have to pour out of pitchers because there's no way to do that on draft.
Okay.
So it's GABF style pouring.
GABF style, yeah.
Yeah. It's a...
I hear you. Look at you. Oh, it's a job.
No, I think it's important to understand why those festivals are different, and why they can what things in common, what things are possible, not by law or by cultural, right, or practice. Because one of them is they had the floor, they had some. Activations in the concourse, right? So, I mean, if you're in the concourse, is that a bad spot? I don't know. Would you rather be on the floor? I don't know. They also had a lager lounge, all lagers, biggest line, biggest line. Which confirms,
thought-
like, when I say, hey, we have Strong Beer Fest, but bring what you want, and, like, I ask people what they go through, it's generally their lighter styles. Like,
Of course it is.
Yeah. So,
But I still get the pushback every time. When I was at the homebrew thing,
yeah.
we're talking about strong beer. Oh yeah, that's we've got to bring all those beers that are over 8%, right? No. Oh, maybe it was FBRI on Sunday. I said no. Strong in character, strong in tradition, strong in flavor.
You got it, man.
Doesn't have to be strong in alcohol. And they look at me and they're like, whatever, man. Everyone brings their super high ABV stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, people do.
Yeah.
You want to have one of those. As a former person who's pouring, I would want to have one of those available.
Former person who is pouring. You're a brewer.
Then I would want to bring those.
Yeah.
But I also want to bring things that people can consume.
You want people to buy so that you have a job, and
Yeah,
you want
those
people
strong
to get
specialty
caught
beers
up.
are awesome.
You
for
want
people
people.
to be.
You want people to request them places. You want to.
Yeah.
If you want to get them to scale so they make sense for your brewery. If you're just doing a small run and you want to give it I get it. So anyway, they had the lager lounge, and then Goose Island had they basically plopped an L train car, and they poured out of it, and there was a huge line for that. They had to be outside on this observation deck area.
Not everyone knows what an L car is.
It's the train, so
you can imagine subways in New York City or
right.
wherever.
It's L because it's elevated.
So it's about 20 feet up off the ground.
No, more than that.
More than that.
Can be. I don't know.
Yeah.
20 feet seems low. I don't know. But they pour out of that. And one of the other things that makes this festival be what it is Goose Island has a major sponsorship with it. And that predated when they were ABI. And obviously, I think there's 190 breweries there.
Wow.
Or beers
Beautiful.
Or something like that. Somewhere in
Love
there. I mean, it's a substantial amount, but when you're only pouring 1 to 2 beers, you can put a lot on that footprint. So it's not dissuading anybody. But that's the reason that does it. And, like, even before all this, one of the things that was made clear to me, because I knew we could get some sponsorship if we offered some things to breweries. Like, do you want to be on the wristband as a brewery? Do you want to be? Cannot offer them so far by practice. And I took me a while to understand, but I agree with it. Like, it shouldn't. It's our festival collectively, and no one brewery should be on the glass. I'm saying that now, but I have to represent the wishes of the board, and in turn the wishes of all the breweries. And if all the breweries are okay with it, then I guess I could be okay with it. But as it stands right now, that arrangement for that festival is unique to them, and I cannot do the same thing. So I can't. We have to find a non-beer investor sponsor. Yeah. So, but that's what makes it different and interesting. And
Did you go on the L car?
No, I didn't even get it. If the combined forces of Tommy Arthur, Tanya Cornett, and Melissa can't skip lines like in that line.
Wow.
Then I can't either.
Yeah, I guess. Man.
Well, yeah. I mean,
tough crowd. No one knows who you are.
It doesn't matter.
They don't even know who you are, Rob.
No, it doesn't matter.
Jeez. These gatekeepers are rough.
Yeah. They didn't even want to walk out there because they were like, we're supposed to go this way. I'm like, well, let's at least go this way so we can see what it looks like. They will be, because there are other people were doing it, but you couldn't get in line for it. Sorry, my wrist is buzzing and I don't know why. The watch is actually working past 2:30.
How nice for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the board thread. I don't know what it is. I haven't read it, but it's there.
Okay, well, so I left early. The festival.
You left festival early?
Yeah.
That is a trend these days, yeah.
You know, it was already starting to clear out a little bit, and that's good. That's good for everyone.
I found that to be the case in when we were in Wickenburg. People
Yeah.
stayed for a while and then left a little early, and
Real
that's
Wild and Woody.
what we've seen as a trend, because
It's a long time.
It's post-pandemic, and people are like, you know what? I did it. I had some good stuff. I saw some people I wanted to see, and you know what? I think I'm ready to roll. I get it.
I like it.
I do too.
So I'm just looking at my photos to jog my memory, but I did find another John Lane impersonator, look-alike. Double.
Oh, God. Where? Yeah, I can see that.
It's more
Sure.
the glasses.
Yeah.
But if you want to see that photo, you might have to look at the YouTube. I don't know. Maybe I'll put
as
in there.
exciting.
No.
That's not a big motivation.
So I wanted to. It became clear that I needed probably an extra day, and if I go again, I would probably try to go Thursday. And I missed the Seabowl 150th anniversary. They did a counter pub crawl. So I mean, in an ideal world, I would have went Thursday. Went to the thing on Friday. Just caught the awards and got on the pub crawl because why not? And that would have been a way for me to have some Goose Island beers because that was part of their thing. Goose Island also being pretty relevant for the Siebel thing, right? So I wanted to go to two places, and I went to the Mousetrap, which is Off Color Brewing Company. And it was their 5th anniversary. They had a bunch of sours on. And it's just like you're going there and like they're like, what would you like? And it's like literally I fall on this crutch a lot, but in this case I'm like, I have no idea. Just pick something out and just keep serving me new beers.
Right. Cool. And you were did you do a flight or did you just
No, one after the other. And I was joined by Jay again from
the guild
the guilds. Jay Wilson.
from Iowa?
Yes.
I can help.
I know. Jay had a hype man.
Great.
He literally said hype man on his badge. So I got to talk to John Loeffler, the brewer owner of Off Color. And like, it was nice because, he came by and we talked for a little bit, he and I and Jay. So
Cool.
that doesn't happen the last couple times it was in Chicago. So it was just good to have that, discussion. I don't know where my pictures from. Oh, I didn't go to. I said, hey, I'm gonna go to Dovetail. Like, you got any recommendations? Like, he's good. Go to Hopleaf, and I hadn't been there.
So you say Dovetail? What is that? Like a neighborhood?
It's another brewery. They have an amazing Helles lager, and they were doing a Ruck beer too.
So
They're Dovetail is celebrating Ruck Beer Month.
So you're asking which location of Dovetail to go to?
No, I said I'm going to Dovetail.
Yeah.
I need some non-beer calories.
Okay.
What should I do? Or what should I go? Where else should I go? And he told me to go to Hopleaf, which I did.
Which sounds like another brewery.
No, it is
Okay.
a Belgian beer bar.
Okay.
Belgian style.
Hopleaf is a Belgian beer bar with food.
Gastropub. Yes.
Okay, great.
Very popular. It was the last time I was in Chicago for something like this was CBC. I want to say 14 or 15
I was going to
years ago.
say, was CBC ever in Chicago? Because I didn't know that. The restaurant shows there every year, but
Yeah, no, it was 2014, 2013. No, 2012, somewhere in there. Like, right, 14 to 15 years ago or whatever. And I went as a home brewer, and it was amazing then. And that was when Goose Island, before they were purchased. And so they had a big spread, and like they had like 27 barrels of, pulling nails on 27 different barrels of actual barrels, not of Bourbon County, differently flavored variants.
cool.
But that was the first time I realized that I had a problem with chronic heartburn.
Oh,
That's when my first huge GERD attack happened, and I was immobile for like the last day.
wow.
Couldn't eat, and so I passed on going to
That
Hopleaf.
is a miserable vacation.
Yeah. Fortunately, I got through most of it, and I got home and I'm like, no, I'm on drugs to fix that.
Oof.
It's manageable. But yeah, it was bad. I didn't realize how bad it was. I didn't realize how much pain I was sort of living with. Anyway, I didn't get to go to Hopleaf, and it was like big disappointment. So it's a Belgian style beer bar, gastropub, and I ordered a pork schnitzel sandwich and moules and frites, and I could have picked a ton of Belgian styles. I could have picked a Chicago beer, and just popped out maybe because it starts at the top of the alphabet. I had an Allagash White, and I'm like, I had them in Portland. I'm going to have one here and just see if it stands up. I, of course, had other beers, but this is the one I want to talk about. And, it was great. It was, I told you I had only Allagash White in bars because it was so good. I really didn't need to have it at the brewery. It was treated well, and it was treated well here, and it was good.
Awesome. That's great to hear. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, it
I mean, I don't know how much it turns when you're in a city with Chicago and that has that many breweries. I mean, it's great. It's great. There's a Belgian bar there anyway. So.
Yeah. So I know we're trying to get CBC here in Phoenix, and it doesn't look all that promising because it sounds like they're on a run of going to have these conferences at towns that don't necessarily have beer. If you're in Arizona, I'm telling you that it's going to places that have less beer culture
than we do.
Less beer options than we do.
Right.
And it's going to be a while before that ever gets corrected. And that's unfortunate.
Wait, but if San Diego's coming up though, right?
I know. I'm just saying. We're going to be in Las Vegas.
The homebrew conference is in San Diego.
We're going to be in Las Vegas.
I don't even want to talk about it. It hurts me.
I know. So,
I mean, yes, it's close to Phoenix, but God, it's the worst.
It's so far away. But I would not mind losing to Chicago 2 or 3 times because they really do have. I think their beer culture is superior to San Diego. I'll say it because they're so much more integrated into the neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
Regular people. That's what makes it work.
Cool.
So, I went to Dovetail, had their ruck beer, had a cheese plate, got a sticker.
Sounds like a beautiful, beautiful day.
It
Dang.
was. It was. Oh, here's, yeah. Every once in a while, I'll text myself things I overhear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking back. Bunch of girls. Whatever. We'll get high and watch Dairy Girls. And I'm like, I'm just gonna walk to Dovetail in the rain.
That's funny.
Dairy Girls, DERRY. So yeah, I mean the rest of it is just me struggling to get on a plane the next day. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But you made it. That was nice.
Yeah. So that's my little adventure.
On Sunday, last week I went to Richter Brewing and hung out there and left my glasses. So we are going to meet up with Richter down at Beer Research on Sunday morning. They had a brewery arcade tournament. You had to be a brewer or a salesperson or an owner of a brewery to participate.
Mm-hmm.
And although I think I probably could have gotten my way in there, I was not going to stay for a whole tournament of pinball that I was definitely going to lose.
Yeah.
So we went down there to meet them. Unfortunately, the glasses didn't make it, but we got to see Brandon and his son, and we got to see a whole bunch of people from Bonehouse and, of course, the BRI crew. And, gosh, who else? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people. And then ordered Gus's chicken and stopped at Oro Brewing Company while I was down there and had a half-see. We got the short pours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gus's is so good.
Yeah. It's delicious.
Yeah.
I actually had some of the mac and cheese while I was driving home. I was spoon-fed.
You were driving and a little choo-choo train was coming your way.
That's right.
Fly the airplane into the hangar.
It was so nice.
Nice.
I said, thanks, Joe Filler. You're the best.
Oh, it's not even Bonnie?
It was Bonnie. I was kidding.
Okay.
Joe was there, too, though.
No one knows who Joe Filler is on this show, do they?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll save that for another time.
I'm sure we've talked about it before.
On this show?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure no.
All right. Now we have.
If anyone who actually listens
Comment.
can find
Put it in the comment below.
can find the timestamp on either the video or the audio of us mentioning Joe Filler that's not this particular show, I will buy you 4 beers.
Oh, that's a lot of beers, Rob.
I will buy you a 4-pack, or I will make you drink 4 beers live.
Yeah, so that was fun. That was nice.
Yeah. No, it's great that those kinds of things bring people together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You don't know who won the?
I do not.
Yeah, I wouldn't have stuck around. I wouldn't have the patience for that. Mutual friend of ours, Jeff Wegener, who we've never talked about, like has won that competition.
Really?
A couple times. Not as the Brewers. I think he kicked their butts. Honestly, he plays a lot of pinball. He's living that life, man.
Yeah.
I used to play pinball a lot.
Oh. Huh.
I stopped playing when they started figuring out the physics of the tilt and making it really annoying to play and
Right.
charging $1.50. It's just
Well, the pins at BRI are all vintage.
that's more my style.
All vintage. You know, there's a couple that aren't super old, but ain't nothing like Star Wars going on the pin side. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Well, I think we've said quite a bit
Yeah.
about our weekend, and and we've taken this festival apart a little bit.
What we didn't talk about was that we've already had 2 meetings this week, and it's Tuesday. Strong Beer Fest meetings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Got a lot of action going on right now.
Yeah. This show is not going to happen until after Barrels, Bottles, and Brews.
Yeah, true.
We'll have that to talk about. We'll have more strong beer information. We might get Josh on the show to talk about his experience at FOBAB, but maybe more abbreviated. I don't know. I don't know. If you have something you want us to talk about, we'll talk about it. Today is election day.
Today is election day. Lots of action going on the streets for the rest of our year coming up.
Yeah.
Is state legislative elections every 2 years?
Well,
They rotate or
there's elections every 2 years. For both federal and state, and sometimes they line up with major state races, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're tied to because you have 6-year terms. You know, if you're talking about federal, state, you have 6-year terms. You got 2-year terms. You got 4-year terms. So it's all like.
And we have our own board election coming up too.
Yeah.
So we've
Right.
got all that.
And you have annual elections for some city positions
And county and
so.
Great. So I have to go through this one, and then I've got maybe another year to pass, and then we'll do it again.
What?
The elections for Arizona state legislators.
You're gonna run?
Jeez, Rob. I'm saying this one was a lot of annoyance.
Yeah.
We get next year off, and the following year we'll have more annoyance.
Oh, yeah. But I'm going to tell you, like, it's going to never end.
It never stops.
It never ends.
I know.
You and I get a daily
Yeah.
report on happenings in Arizona politically, and that's never going to end.
Never.
The commercials might end.
The text messages that are going through your watch right now.
So, at some point today, probably when it's closer to dark, before the polls close, no one will be boiling a wallet on TV.
That's the best part of the day.
Right? You're not going to see grainy black and white of candidates.
The border wall,
Yeah.
people running.
People walking next to the border.
I don't know. All right. Well, hey, Rob,
Yeah.
nice catching up.
Cheers.
Glad you had such a adventure. And let's get back here again another week.
Yeah.
Everyone's friends over a pint.
You're going to keep trying with that one. Right?
No, it sucks.
How about we're bringing... no, mine's going to be terrible now. We bring you beer where you can't have it? Something like that. You're listening now. We're drinking. You're not.
Bye.
Cheers.